Hey, okay, so, recording a video. Haven't done one of these in a while. Well, actually, I did that vlog the other day. Anyways, I've got a little bit of allergies. Like, I was riding my motorcycle, almost snapped my neck with my helmet when I sneezed earlier. No, I'm sitting here in Trainz 2019, and this video specifically is going to be about how to set up the destination database. But before I kind of get into setting that up, I kind of want to talk about some of the different ways, a couple of the different assets that are out there that can make setting up your prototypical operations on your route as realistic as possible. And I've already done a video on how to set up, like 3 years ago, on how to set up CMTMS. I'm going to talk a little bit about car tagger, and then we're going to go into real good details with destination database. So let's just start out with what is CMTMS? Well, that is car management or car movement traffic management system. There's a couple different variations of it. CMTM2 is the last version that was like the really hard to set up one. CMTM3 is specifically meant for multiplayer. And then CMTM4 changed up the input method, the file you needed to edit and create in order to get it working with your route. It is by far the most realistic depiction of moving freight from place to place, because what ends up happening is you take your car here and it tells you drop it off here. You get it here, and then after a set amount of time, maybe 2, 3, 4, 10, 12, up to 99 hours later, the car will be either loaded or unloaded and is ready to go again with its next destination already in place. Which means that it's, once it's going, it just goes and goes. And you can set it up to have continuous operations. The real major drawback with CMTMS is it's not the easiest to set up. You have a whole big text file you have to edit, and for every industry, you have to make a record for every car that goes there. If you want 10 cars to go to that industry, you have to make 10 records for it, which can get really tedious when you have hundreds of industries on a railroad. I know this because I've done it. It's like after a certain point, you just start hitting your head on the desk. The other thing with it is it's really not it's not really compatible with iPortaling. I mean, it can iPortal. You can send trains to other players or other routes within yourself or within your own computer. The problem is the CMTM portal assumes that every train is empty, and once a train is 100% out of the portal, it assigns the records and then it loads it. This means that if you were trying to send me a very specific commodity and you sent it to a portal, that I don't have a record made for that specific commodity for that car, I'm not going to get it. But if I send you out a train fully loaded, you'll get all the loads on your end because the portals are handling them that way. So it's not really flexible in terms of you never really know what you have to coordinate with the other players that are going to send you a train with. You have to coordinate with them on what they're going to send you. And while I know it works in Trainz 19, I have not been able to get CMTM to work with portals at any level in Trainz 19. This means that if a train comes out of the portal, if it's an iPortal, if it's a scheduled train through a normal portal, whatever, it doesn't work. And I don't know if that's an issue with CMTM or if that's a user error issue. I haven't figured that out yet. So the drawbacks of CMTM, it's not as flexible as other systems. It has an incredibly difficult setup, which can turn some people off to it. And its compatibility with, it's not 100%. I mean, it's 100%. You can load it up and run it, but if you're like me and you like iPortaling, even with my own routes, it doesn't work. At least to that level. The next thing, and this is kind of like the middle ground between CMTM and nothing, is car tagger, which is immensely powerful, and it's actually an asset that I love to use. in place of CMTM, because CMTM, it's like, oh, I'm building a route, I'm going to build a specific route for CMTM. Car Tagger, oh, I downloaded this route, I can use the Car Tagger. And what was nice about Car Tagger is it looks at your entire railroad, it looks at every industry, what that industry consumes and what that industry produces. It then looks at every car on your route, what those cars can be loaded with, and what those cars are loaded with. And then when you click on a car, it brings up a menu and says, would you like to assign a destination to this car or a tag to this car? And you say, yes. It will then say, well, here's all the industries that this car can load, or here's all the industries that this car has product for. And then you can fill out that for every single car on your railroad, and now you've got your switch lists and you know where to send everything to. Which is great which is great for iPortaling, it's great for just general operations, it's an awesome thing to use. There's no real setup either. You just go up here and it's like, oh, that's wireframe view. I'm going to add you're going to add it and you go car tagger install rule. And boom, it's done. That's all you got to do. Unfortunately, and this is the only drawback to car tagger, there's two actually. The first is once a car gets to its destination, Car Tagger doesn't update that. You have to manually tell it, okay, well, the car's now loaded. Where can I unload this car? And then send it on your way, which isn't that big of a deal. CMTM automatically does this. Once you get the car to the destination, you tell CMTM, car's at its destination. CMTM says, cool, come back in 15 hours. Car Tagger doesn't do that. Once the car's unloaded at that industry, you gotta assign it its next destination. And the other drawback, and this is the biggest issue, is Car Tagger does not work in Trainz 19. In fact, it doesn't work in any build of Tane past Service Pack 3, from my understanding on the forums. It'll work in Trainz 12. I know, I used to use it all the time. It's a little quirky in Tane, but it does not work in anything past Service Pack 3 for Tane. So if you got Trainz on Steam and you're like, I'm gonna get Car Tagger because it's awesome, you're gonna have a bad time because it's not gonna work. You saw it was faulty for me, and I'm in Trainz 19 here. The other thing we can use is Destination Database, which actually is an asset that came out long before Car Tagger or CMTM. It takes a little bit more work. It's not as intuitive as Car Tagger. It's not as hard of work as CMTM, but it's more flexible than CMTM and Car Tagger. And starting now, I'm going to talk about how we can utilize Destination Database, which you can get from the Trainz Pro Route website. You've got Google that. You can get that from, or how you can utilize Destination Database to make some really interesting, really prototypical operations, as well as how to set it up. And so, the first thing we're going to do is, you can see I've already got a route here I just kind of threw together. I've got an iPortal, I've got a power plant over here, just a simple one I dropped down. I've got a coal mine right here, just a simple one I dropped down. I've got 2 cars, locomotive, and a turntable, because I also use this route for testing iPortal stuff. And I got the iPortal there, and we'll get into that. So what we're going to first do is we're going to go to our Objects tab, and we're going to find a Destination Database. I've already got it selected. It's this little yellow building, and we're just going to drop it down anywhere. You can put it anywhere on your route. If you like, oh, I don't want to see that building because it's ugly, you can just, you can always, doesn't allow height change. I thought you allowed a height change. You can always just, hide it inside of another building. What I like to do is, whoops, just like fat finger that, yard, tower, so like yard, office, and tower, like, now it just looks like it's a little tool shed. So yeah, it's just a simple little building. We're going to drop it down. That's the first step. Next step is we're going to go to our Properties tab, and we're going to name it. It has to be a unique name to that route. So I'm just going to type in just, test route. And then I also like to let me in the future know destination database. So I put DDB. Just kind of in case I have something else I want to put in a similar name. Simply because I do typically put one in my yard. Like right now, I have one on another route. It's just titled Saginaw DDB because I have a town named Saginaw, and there's a big sign that says Saginaw. So that's the first one we're going to do. Now we can see we've got 3 buttons here: add location, from file, and prefix. Now, add location, we'll get to in a second. Basically what that is that's adding major locations, and you can break that down in different ways. From file, so this is something I haven't figured out yet, but apparently you can create a text file that Destination Database can, once you create the text file and put it in the right folder, it can read that text file and fill itself out for you. I have not figured out how to use that. I really haven't messed with it because it hasn't been something that I need to worry about. And prefix is, this is for like if you had train symbols. For example, CSX uses 1 letter and 3 numbers for their trains, so D737 is a local. And if you're unfamiliar with what train symbols are, I'll do a more in-depth video on those later, but basically they're the codes that are assigned to a train that that everyone knows. So if I call up the dispatcher and say, I'm D737 calling from Saginaw looking to head out, I don't have to tell the dispatcher anything else. The dispatcher can pull up my train information and know exactly what my train is, where it's going, what my instructions are. And he can be like, all right, you're clear to go or whatever. Prefix is where you can actually fill that in, so we'll get to that in a second. What we're going to first do is we're going to see where it says add location right here. This is adding not industries, but adding locations, towns, cities, yards. What I like to do is I like to break down my railroad into yards and then the locals that those yards service. So let's just say this was Milford. So we're going to click that, we're going to type in Milford. That's the name of this turntable's town. Now it gives us a little plus sign and the words Milford. That's the town we've added. We could now, what I like to do is I'll add every yard. So I have, on my other route, I have a yard called yard. And then I have McGrew yard. You could do that for every yard on your railroad. I'm just going to delete these real quick. Or maybe you're sending your trains to your friend through iPortaling. I can just type in Bob. I'm now sending I now have put a location as Bob. So the next thing we can do after we've added in, and I like to do this one yard at a time, so we're just going to start working on all the industries that Milford Yard serves, which is this turntable. We're going to click on, we're going to click on the little plus here where it says Milford, and it's going to bring up an add customer, edit location, delete location. Maybe we misspelled the name, so we can hit edit location and do Milford Yard. We can change location with that. Maybe we really don't want this location. We can delete it with delete location. Add cust. This is add customer. We can click this, and now we're adding the industries. So I know I have coal mine. What the frick am I spelling? Coal mine as one of my industries. I also have power plant as one of my industries. Now I can edit the locations, changing their names, or we can delete them if maybe we don't have that industry, or maybe we put it in the wrong yard. That's all we really have to do. The names don't even have to be 100% accurate to the en route locations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that out. Now, assuming I've added all the industries that Milford Yard would have now, you can add more. I actually don't even know what the limit is. But you can add all yours. What I like to do, like I said, is I have my route, and then I have 1 yard, and it sends out 2 locals plus some manifests. Every train that comes out of that, every industry that yard serves, there's like 15 of them, I put on there, and then my other yard has like 2 or 3 industries it serves. I have its own location for that. But now let's say I want to send trains to Bob. Well, I have to add a customer to Bob, but I don't know what Bob has for maybe I have a list of every industry that Bob has. I can fill that out if I wanted to. If not, what I like to do is just do INs for industries. That's all I really need to do. Now I know I'm sending a train to Bob for any industries. So we've set up Milford Yard and we've set up Bob. And just one more time, we hit add location. It gave us an option to add a location. We pressed the plus sign. That opened up that location. We then added the customers, which are all the industries we want served. Now, again, you can do this for just your yard. This could just be, Flint subdivision and every industry on there, or you can break it down like I do by yards or whatever. So that's all we really need to do there. Now there's one more step we have to do before we can actually start driving trains. We have to go to Edit Session Rules, add a rule, and it is Panel Selector Rule. You can see it right there. This panel rule is available on the DLS. We're going to add it. There's really not anything we can edit to it, but that's all you got to do is just drop it in there with add and hit OK. And then we can save. Yes, I know. I want to overwrite that route and session. And now we can drive. So now here we are. We're driving our train now. We need to tag these cars for the destination. Oh, and I forgot to show what prefix does. We'll go back to that. Now you see up here, I have this list. It says Panel List. If I click that, it gives me two options. iPortal Tunnel 1, which is that right there, and Test Route DDB, which is that right there. Because I named it DDB, I know exactly what it is on there. We're going to click on that. And that's going to bring up this little menu right here. It says Destination Info, Train Number, and X to close it out. Vehicle, Destination, Customer, Set, Select Location, Select Customer, Apply, and Consist. Now you can see Select Customer, Apply, and Consist are grayed out at the moment. This is just a weird quirk. All we have to do is switch cars. Actually, in now vehicle, it tells us what vehicle it is. We're in a GE 25 tonner. These actually are grayed out until we select location. So I'm going to select this hopper car. And it's empty, so I know it needs to go here to be loaded first. So I'm going to hit Select Location. And it brings up this menu right here at the top. I'm going to click Milford Yard. It's going to close it out, and then it's going to give me... It's going to say Select Location, Milford Yard, Select Customer, Coal Mine. If I click Select Customer, I can either say I want to go to the coal mine or the power plant. Obviously, I want to go to the coal mine to get it filled. Now what I can do is I can hit Apply, and that will apply this destination to this car. Currently, as you can see right here where it says Destination and Customer, it is blank. It is telling me everything about this car, what the car name in-game is. Consist will apply this information to every single car in the train. Doesn't matter what car it is. So we're just going to hit Apply. And now we can see that this car is going to go to Milford Yard to the coal mine. This car, however, maybe I don't want it to go to the coal mine. Maybe I want to send this car to Bob. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Select Location, Bob. It's automatically going to fill in Industries. I'm going to hit Apply. And that's it. The cars are now tagged. As long as I have this little menu up and it's not intrusive, I can leave it there all day. I can even go into cab mode and it's not blocking my view much. And I can see what I'm doing. I can tell I can tell all the work that I need to do right there. Well, as long as I'm clicked on my car. Now right here where it says train number, this I typically use just for the locomotives, just so I can mentally know what I'm doing. If we click train number, you can see it now switches to destination customer pre 10,000, 1,000, 100, 10, 0, clear, and then train number 00000. I can hit prefix, which if I had put a prefix letter in the prefix menu inside the destination database, it would change this number right here. Maybe I want this to be train 21. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click 10. We can now see that this number changed to 10. Click it again. It is now 20. I can click 1 is now 21. If I hit clear, it resets that. So 21. And I hit apply. Now our GE25 tonner, this locomotive right here, has its destination of train number, customer 21. If I click on the cars, I can change them to train numbers as well, which is useful if you're building passenger trains. But I want to stick with the destination information. Now let's say that I've driven both these cars to the coal mine and they're both full. I want to now set them to the power plant. What I can do is I can hit select location, Milford Yard, select customer, power plant, consist. And now if I click on both cars, you can see that that information stays the same. Except for now the locomotive also is tagged for that, but that's an easy fix. I can just go back to train number, apply. And then if you ever, it's like, oh, this is blocking my view because I want to take a screenshot, boom, boom, it's all hidden. And then you can easily, what is it, F2, F3, F5? Yeah, F5. Yeah. Hide it all the way. So, now, going a little more in depth, like I was saying, is you can have multiple industries. You can only have one destination database on your route. If you try and put multiple on there, weird things happen. But you drop it down there, you fill out that information like that. You can break it down any way you want. It makes it super flexible, or makes the destination database super flexible. It is a little more tedious in its overall operation. You still have to click and change things. But overall, it is something that works really, really well. I've used it for a long time. I've been using it for a while on a project I'm building right now in place of using CMTMS and Card Tagger, just because those aren't really working the way that I would like them to work in Trainz 19. In another video, I'll probably go over some more. In another future video, I'll go over some more stuff about other things. But for now, if you got more questions about them, hit me up on the forums, on the Trainz forums, wherever I posted this video, or in the comments. I'll try to get to them. Eventually, I won't because I bazillion and a half videos. But thank you for watching this a little bit long explanation. I hope I did a good enough job explaining this to you. If not, I'll try better if need be. Anyways, later.